Hi, I'm Dave Hilowitz. So this video is about super cheap stringed instruments. If you look on eBay, there's just this cache of really inexpensive violins and violas. Prices are in the like $20 or $30 range, like really bargain basement prices. I've always been super curious about these, like what could you possibly get for that amount of money? So I figured I'd order a couple and make a video. I, of course, am a violinist, and I have way more violins than I know what to do with. So for this experiment, I have ordered 2 violas. One of them is just $37. The other one was a bit more expensive, so yeah, that'll allow us to do a comparison. Both instruments have now arrived, so yeah, let's get unboxing. First, I'm going to start with the more expensive one. It claims to be made by hand, and it lists the person who finished it, Mr. Li Liu. The photos make it look pretty nice, actually. In theory, all violins and violas are made of spruce. This one, the top is made of spruce, Russian spruce, but the back one is made of maple. Maybe that was like a cost savings, can't be sure. Okay, let's open the box. By the way, I should say this viola arrived in only 3 days, so that $100 that I spent on shipping must have gone towards like some kind of like DHL International Express shipping. Pretty impressed, actually. So the case is pretty nice. It's got a little hygrometer built in. Super accurate, I'm sure. My violin teacher in high school had a case with one of those built in, and I thought it was so fancy. So yeah, now I can live in the lap of luxury. It's got one of those cloths that you always forget to put back in the case when you close it up again. I'm not a luthier, so I can't really speak to the quality of the build. I will say that it looks really nice. Pretty impressed with that. Definitely doesn't look like some orange like assembly line instrument. So before I even tune it, I'm going to switch out the strings because yeah, the strings that it came with are just, you know, I can tell they're awful. So this instrument has a little label in it that says that it's like a Stradivarius. Since like the 1800s at least, people have been doing that with lower end instruments. They've been writing that it's like a Stradivarius. They'll have this like little label in Latin. I think it's so lame. You know, it erases the work of the person who actually did make the instrument because, yeah, their name is nowhere to be found. Nobody's fooled, of course. You know, the instrument doesn't bear any resemblance to a Stradivarius. And to make matters worse, you know, every luthier has to deal with like a constant string of people finding violins and violas in their attic, and obviously it says Stradivarius and they get all excited and they're like, could this be? And it's like, no, it could not be. It really could not. You don't have a Stradivarius. So I've just put new strings on this. I put on D'Addario Helicore strings, which are kind of like medium level strings. They're, you know, pretty decent. I didn't want to go all out because I don't know if I even really like these instruments. I'm going to put the same kind of strings on both instruments so that we can do a solid comparison between the two. Okay, yeah, let's hear how it sounds. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the sound of this one too much until we've tried out the other one, and then we can kind of like compare the two. Speaking of which, let's open the other one. When I was a kid, I had one of those terrible orange violins, and I think my mom paid like $400 for it or something like that. So the idea that you could get something, even something of that quality for a tenth of that is, yeah, it's just nuts. So this case is a lot more basic than the other one, but it's still fine. The only thing that's really kind of crummy about it is that it doesn't have a latch. The only thing holding it together is the zipper. So if the zipper breaks, yeah, the case will just fly open and your $37 viola will fall on the floor. So you know how when I unboxed the other one, I said the other one doesn't look like something that just rolled off an assembly line? This one does. It's not bright orange, but it has that super shiny, highly lacquered look that just lets you know you're dealing with a student instrument. I will say, to their credit, they didn't claim that this was a Stradivarius. This one actually comes with a bow, although I will say the bow is so terrible that it's basically unusable. No matter how much I tighten it, the horsehair is still slack, so that's going in the garbage. In the time that I've been working on this video, the price on this instrument has actually gone up on eBay, and now I guess it's like 48 bucks. I guess the cheap viola market is more volatile than I realized. I've put the same kind of strings on, D'Addario Helicore, just so that we have a proper basis for comparison. Yeah, I'm gonna play some scales. Okay. I'm going to try to record like a real piece of music that I actually wrote in advance. And yeah, we could do like an A/B test and see which one we like better. Okay, I've got a piece here. It's got 3 interlocking viola parts. I'm, of course, a violinist by training. I actually don't even know how to read viola music, which is, I think, written in alto clef. I do things like this. I compose using a computer, and then I basically replace the synth notes with viola. I'm going to work my way through all 3 of them. I'm only going to show you one of them because otherwise it could get kind of boring. I'm going to blur out the violas so you can't tell which one I'm playing, and then we'll do a big reveal towards the end. Here's what the first one sounds like. And here's what the second one sounds like. It's a weird thing when you're playing an instrument like the violin or the viola. There's the sound that you hear as the player, and then there's the sound that other people hear in the room, and it's actually pretty different. It's a little bit like your speaking voice. It's like you can never really know what your voice sounds like until you hear a recording of it. So in order for me to really judge these instruments, I kind of have to like listen back to the recordings I just made. Here's viola A again. And here's viola B. So, which was which? Time for the big reveal. Viola A was the super cheap $37 viola, and viola B was the still pretty cheap $200 viola. Overall, my impressions are really favorable for both of them, actually. Listening back to this, it's actually kind of surprising to me how similar they sound. In the room, they sound pretty different. The $37 one is much quieter, I think, more muted. In some ways, I think it's a kind of a sweeter, maybe more rustic tone, whereas the other one has a kind of like a high end that I think kind of cuts through the mix a little bit better. I'm not actually sure which one I prefer. I will say that for whatever reason, it's much, much easier to play the cheaper one of these, the $37 one, than the more expensive one. I'm just able to get it to play the way I want it to play much more easily for some reason. For my purposes, it's very useful to have 2 violas that have very different timbres, because most likely the way I'm going to use this is I'm going to mix them together. These 2 instruments, though they sound pretty different, actually sound really, really great mixed together. Okay, I think that's it. If you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you could hit like, and if you haven't done so already, now is a great time to subscribe. I've got a bunch more videos in the works, some exciting stuff, so yeah, see you soon.